Well, hello guys, it's Distant. It's been quite a long time since I last uploaded a match. Apologies, I spent 3 weeks in a country with very heavy government censorship that blocks access to YouTube, aka China. Well, I'm back now, and here we are in 8-bit armies on the top side of the map, which is Penguin Paradise. We have JustPlainSavage in the red, playing as Cranioids. His opponent in the bottom of the map, in the light blue, is Naipez, playing as Marines. I have never seen Naipez play before, and this is the only game I've ever heard of him. Like, I've only heard mention of him once, and curiously enough, it's okay. So this game was played around 3.5 weeks ago. It's actually the third last game in JustPlainSavage's match history for replays. But 3.5 weeks ago on Discord, he basically posted the number of this replay and said it was the best CVM he'd ever played. So I have some high hopes for this game. Additionally, right after this game, he rejoined Q, where he promptly ended up finding me twice in a row. And the first thing he said in that match was basically, "Do you know this Naipez guy?" And I'm like, "No, I don't." And he's like, "Well, I just played a really good game versus him." So at that point, I thought Naipez was some like new rising star player who was actually going to be good or something. But I haven't heard of him since, so I'm not sure if he actually went anywhere. But yeah. On the other hand, whoa, this is greedy. He's on his fourth harvester just finished. He hasn't built a single ogre. He only has 2 units on the field, and they're his starting units. Holy crap, his 5th harvester is starting, and finally he gets his first ogre down. He started 4 harvesters and a heavy factory. His power completed before his first military unit did. What the heck? Okay, yeah, so personally what I'm seeing here is unpunished greed. And then again, what could JustPlainSavage have actually done? He only had a few Xenodogs on the field. On the other hand, he's also on 4 harvesters. His 5th is also in production right now. Naipez looked like he was starting a 6th harvester, but the good thing, he isn't actually going to go that far. On the other hand, JustPlainSavage, despite the fact that he's about to go on to 5 harvesters of his own, does actually have units on the field, does have a Xenodog here and 2 Xenodogs here. Naipez is finally responding to the Xenodog, but he doesn't... Okay, he's responding to these 2 Xenodogs, okay. The fortunate thing for Naipez is that these do fire damage, which is weak against vehicles, and as a result, I mean, if they had done normal damage, they would have killed this, I think. Or let's say if they did heavy damage or piercing, this would have definitely been dead. And so Xenodogs, they're fast, they're annoying, but they aren't that dangerous to harvest. So on the other hand, fire damage is good versus buildings, so they can be very, a large amount of them allowed to escape into your base and get to your tech structures can be very dangerous. So yeah, it looks like now JustPlainSavage is actually on 6 harvesters, only 5 for Naipez. So actually Naipez has the larger, he has the less harvesters now. Now he has less eco. And actually this harvester might die. I mean, with, oh no, JustPlainSavage did not move that. Oh wait, what? Oh, he moved that saucer at the wrong time. Okay, well these Marines are being moved back. This harvester might die. The 2 stink bugs near it. No, he could have sacrificed the aggressor and a stink bug, or maybe the stink bug and 2 Xenodogs. That definitely would have been worth it. He could have definitely sacrificed that and gotten rid of the harvester in the process. That would have been totally worth it. Extremely worth it, actually. Unfortunately, he didn't go for that route. Instead, he's actually... what? Okay. He's going to take down that ogre, though. He's going to lose an aggressor or 2 to the Shrikes. Actually, no, the Ogre's alive, and since we have Shrikes on the field, it's going to... he probably has Gremlin Tech coming down, so that Ogre will be healed straight up. Shrikes are dead, aggressors are also dead. The Marines are not being micro, they are going to take a lot of damage from the Stink Bus. They are... oh my god, why? Why? Oh my gosh. That was totally unnecessary. The good thing is they're all alive, but if there had been one more stink bug there, all of those Marines would have been dead. That was totally unnecessary on Naipez's part. He should have microed them backwards. He should have microed just the whole mass backwards and let the ogres deal with the stink bugs, since they can shoot on the move, actually. Or maybe split if he had the APM to do so. On the other hand, gremlins where? Because he could totally use some gremlins here in this army. Because there's an ogre with like 1 health. There's a bunch of marines with like 1 bar of health. And they're all gonna die. Actually, no, they're not all dead. Naipez is actually No, now they're not. What? Okay, now they finally died because they stayed in the acid cloud too long. But Naipez has gotten some. He's gotten some really good trades going on so far, despite the fact that he isn't microing at all. And the reason he's getting those good trades is because JustPlainSavage is reducing these units to like very minimal health without actually being able to kill them, and then they regen shields, and then yeah, once gremlins get on the field, it's going to be even worse. Although is there even there is a resource enhancer? There's even a tech bay, I mean a research facility. So there should be. Why aren't there gremlins on the field? If Naipez shouldn't have done the last push though. He should have left the low health Marines back in the field, built a few gremlins, healed them up, and then basically had a fresh army again. I think that was a decent. I think that was a pretty critical misplay. Actually, just in the fact that he let those Marines take that much damage from the stink bugs in this area, at the same time that I was screaming, I can't. That was totally unnecessary. On the other hand, wow, there's already blast bugs out for JustPlainSavage. While Naipez isn't. He's still on. He just got to research facility tech, and so this could be really bad for Naipez because yeah, blast bugs, they're pretty good. And also I can't see the Wyverns doing much because they suck versus air. They're mediocre versus and they suck versus the infantry. That's true. I guess they can do decent versus the blast bugs as long as the blast bugs are in low number, I guess, because they have very large models. They don't stack too much, so they won't take as much AoE if the blast bugs try to focus them. On the other hand, ogres should be moving on the move because they're going to force the Cranioid base infantry to run like they are. They're split around and stuff. Can't shoot while they're splitting and running. And also they can get in range of the blast bugs that way because they can shoot on the move. These ogres should be they should be being, the whole army even should be moved forwards. Only the ogres will be shooting, but that'll be enough because they'll be better than taking this damage and allowing JustPlainSavage's blast bugs to just sit there and shoot, because they won't be able to shoot either if they're running away. Okay, so yeah, Naipez should fall back. This is a really good trade. All these units, they're low health, but they can escape. All these ogres, JustPlainSavage can't chase. Naipez isn't falling. Oh my god. He needs to fall back with these. It's actually really interesting because these blast bugs are doing zero damage. Okay, he's finally falling back. But that's after losing all his units. That a really long time to fall back. Is he gonna try to go for the crush? But he doesn't have enough health. That's not gonna work. Honestly, he should have fell back while he had the chance. He didn't really get anything done in the last 20 seconds of that fight. The only thing that happened was his units lost a lot of health, and finally they eventually died. A little bit of harass here. Two aggressors. Only one is attacking, actually. Looks like JustPlainSavage is curious about how much money his opponent has. Well, actually, I think he might have more than JustPlainSavage, considering the fact that he does have more harvesters on the field. But yeah, Naipez making some serious misplays in my opinion. Shrike's doing a good job of focusing down the motherships, but the presence of mothership in Blastbug is very dangerous. Actually, he should be using these wyverns. These wyverns should not be in the main fight anymore. They're not effective versus motherships because they do siege damage. They do very low damage versus air, and the blast bugs are going to start killing them eventually now. These wyverns should be replaced with either shrikes or gremlins. Gremlins, because look at that fall. Oh my god, he needs to fall back with these units. If he doesn't fall back again, I am actually going to be really annoyed. But no, he's actually going to move closer. And all of these units are going to die. He could have saved a lot of units there. It's actually really interesting. I never noticed this, but with the way blast bugs do damage, large AoE, low damage, and the fact that Marines have very large models and high hit point amounts, actually the blast bugs are very slow at killing Marines. I feel like versus an experienced player, let's say if Netput or Mooley were playing the Marines here, they probably would have they'd be on Gorgon Tech by now, definitely. But if they weren't on Gorgon Tech, they'd be making more ogres and less manticores, and they'd be relying on the shoot on the move thing, and they'd basically just be kind of destroying. Well, yeah, they'd be basically walking up to the blast bugs, avoiding a lot of the damage. When they get low, they fall back, and that would work really well. That would be really good for trading purposes. What the heck was this? So JustPlainSavage teleported in a couple of units here, including a harvester. Managed to kill one harvester. Not gonna kill this because the wyverns. But okay, so it looks like there's still wyvern production. As I mentioned, the wyverns are not useful. The manticores are decent. Like, he definitely needs a couple of manticores to deal with the motherships, but he should be building more ogres. He can't be building straight manticore right now, or even better, gorgons. He should be building gorgons or ogres right now to deal with the majority of the DPS, which is blast bug. Actually, there aren't that many motherships on the field. Interesting. Ooh, looks like our destroyer has fully spawned now. But what these... Okay, looks like the wyverns are finally being used oh, maybe. Naipez, wyverns are really good versus buildings. They suck versus air, though. And so what Naipez should be doing is he should be trying to snipe a couple key tech buildings, like the destroyer pit, or maybe the research facility. And what he'd accomplish then is that he'd force JustPlainSavage to split his army a bit, and then also he'd be better on the main front then. He'd be better off, because these wyverns are contributing absolute nada to this. They're not effective. They're not doing anything in this. They're not effective in here. They're much better over here, and actually, they're actually killing something. They killed the... Oh, this is actually really good, because they got the research facility, and then they also killed the resource enhancer, and so that's going to prevent JustPlainSavage from JustPlainSavage actually can't rebuild the research facility until he rebuilds the resource enhancer, which he's doing right now. Unfortunately, for Naipez, he wasn't able to snipe the second one of these, and at the same time, that means he's actually going to technically be at stinkbug level tech for a while, because, yeah, he is producing motherships from the launch bays, but he only has 2 launch bays, while on the other hand, he has a lot of armories, and now they're all kind of useless because he's just stuck producing tech. Also, Naipez should fall back. He should fall back with these units once again, and actually, never mind. Maybe not, because the stink bugs can actually outrun them. Ironically, the stink bugs might actually be better in this case, because they can chase effectively, versus the manticores. Versus ogres, they won't be as effective, but versus manticores, yes, very effective at chasing, because the manticores can't shoot back. On the other hand, these are full health manticores. If JustPlainSavage had tried to commit to this, he would have found most of his units most of his stink bugs dying before they even got in range. So actually, JustPlainSavage is okay. He's hunting down. Are these the same wyverns? No, they're not. Actually, I think they are. But yeah, the wyverns better run, because they can't do crap against these motherships. Okay, yeah, it looks like actually JustPlainSavage is still on less harvesters than his opponent, I think. That's interesting. But yeah, honestly, these wyverns should be recombined with this group of wyverns. There needs to be some strike or gremlin production, because look, there's so much potential for gremlin usage in this game, and he's never used it. He's also had so much potential for falling back. He's never used it. This harvester's doing nothing. This harvester's doing nothing. This harvester's dead. Okay, so yeah, Naipez definitely has more harvesters than his opponent, but maybe he isn't in that much better of a position, because a lot of them are kind of just AFKing, not really getting anything done. Destroy definitely getting work done along with the motherships. Stinkbug's not really effective versus manticores. Yeah, that's definitely true, but yeah, he's why does he have 2 parasite? Okay. Ouch. So that must have meant JustPlainSavage actually must have been on stinkbug tech for longer than I thought he was, because I think he accidentally built a second parasite hive before he rebuilt the research facility. And the interesting thing is, parasite hives are actually not really that useful until you have a research facility, even though you can build either one of them first. The only thing you get from the parasite hive if you don't have a research facility is the floating brain, and the floating brain is not useful until you have either tripods, motherships, or blast bugs. Otherwise, if you don't have tripods, motherships, or blast bugs in your army camp, they're not useful. But the thing is, motherships and blast bugs require motherships require a destroyer pit. Blast bugs require both the research facility and the parasite hive, and tripods require the research facility. So basically, parasite hives are not useful until you have a research facility. And so yeah, that must have been a mistake on JustPlainSavage's part. Definitely cost him I think 30 seconds, so that must have sucked. Must have been really annoying because that would have been 30 seconds more without a real army production because he was just on 2 launch bays, really. But now all of a sudden he has he's had his multiple armories up for a while again, though, and since then he's been just pumping out blast bug after blast bug. Looks like we're finally seeing a bit of Gorgon tech. They definitely focused the wrong units. Okay, Naipez finally trying to fall back for once, but actually this is actually decent. The Gorgons are actually getting work done. I mean, if there were more, there needs to be more Gorgons, and the Manticores should have been, I think, hidden behind the Gorgons. But yeah, still producing Wyverns. I really have to question what the point of Wyverns are, because they're not really gonna do much in this army comp. The Gorgons are gonna be much more effective, just pure Gorgon micro with Wyverns harassing maybe, or either Shrikes and Gorgons would be better. Also a couple Gremlins maybe in the back lines, I don't know. But yeah, it looks like overall but yeah, the Gorgons are definitely late. Actually, these Gorgons, if you look at it, there was like 5 Gorgons, and they traded really well. They killed a lot of blast bugs. These Gorgons traded really well. The problem is they just came in way too late. Naipez definitely should have tried to tech earlier. He should, and while he was teching to Gorgons, he should have been less reliant on Manticores. He should have only had enough Manticores to fill up a back line, while still having an Ogre front line to force the blast bugs to retreat. Because, yeah, the Manticores just weren't effective at that. And so, yeah, I think Naipez made a serious misplay teching late, really late. And also not falling back in multiple scenarios when he had an army that was capable of falling back and trading really well. Especially when he had especially when he was building more Ogres. Later on, when he had Manticores, the Manticores were less adept at falling back. I think they're slightly slower than Ogres. They're at, like, I think Ogres are 200 speed and Manticores are 180. I might be backwards on that, though. Ogres might actually be slightly slower. But the thing is, the Ogres can shoot on the move, and, yeah. That's the main thing is the Ogres can shoot on the move, the Manticores can't. So if Manticores are retreating, they're not doing damage, while if Ogres are retreating, they're doing damage, and they're also retreating simultaneously. And so honestly, he should have built more Ogres, been very aggressive with them to force the blast bugs backwards, which would have allowed his Manticores to focus the motherships, and then he should use the Gremlins to harass buildings more, or he could have built Strikes or Gremlins. On the other hand, actually, there were so many times when he could have fell back with an army of Ogres, saved a bunch of low health Ogres, and repaired them all to full health with Gremlins. That would have been a seriously good trade for him, and that would have really hurt JustPlainSavage, but he never chose to do that. And so I think, yeah, Naipez, serious misplays. Definitely, I think his first misplay, though, was opening with the heavy factory, because yeah, he didn't have his first produced military unit until he was already on 4 harvesters, and his 5th one was in the making too. So yeah, that's my opinion of this game. I don't think I'm gonna see Naipez again for a long time. I think this is gonna be a one-off game, who knows. But yeah, hope you liked this. Please like, comment, and subscribe.